so much better on this camera than it is your cell phone.
Okay.
So tonight,
Better in what way?
hey, when do you want to talk about our vacation?
Whenever.
Maybe this weekend,
Sure.
or tonight or tomorrow night?
You want to do it tonight?
I know. So Rachel had a fever today, but you're feeling better now?
I'm feeling better now. We can do it tonight.
Can we?
Uh-huh.
We could send these guys down to WATCHBLUEY and record and talk about it right now and make it part of this vlog.
Okay.
Okay.
The whole thing.
What are we gonna
No,
go to?
we're gonna split it up in parts.
What'd you say?
Downstairs.
Downstairs.
What does BLUEY spell?
I don't know.
Bear.
But
What does bear? Bear and Porter. What does BLUEY spell? BLUEY.
We don't know that.
Blue. BLUEY.
Balloon? I don't know.
You watch it on TV.
Bluey.
Bluey.
Yes.
You want to go watch a little bit of Bluey?
Yay!
right.
Thank you.
Hasta,
I love Bluey.
hasta la vista. So forgive Rachel because she'll be looking through her phone at memories that we have of this trip, of this epic, if you're new around here, it was a over 2-week RV trip where we left from the Lake of the Ozarks, took the back roads to Memphis, then down to Biloxi, over to, where did we,
Tallahassee?
Yep, but it wasn't Tallahassee. It was like outside Tallahassee. Anywhere, somewhere outside Tallahassee. To Orlando, Florida, and then back to Pensacola, Florida, and then home in 2 days. So we've got a lot to talk about.
Debrief. It was really fun.
It was a blast.
You know, it's funny because like when we were gonna do this trip, first it was like, you were like, we're gonna do this in the RV, and I was like, we are not doing this in the RV, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And then we switched, and I was like, if we can do at least 2 weeks, then we can do the RV.
Right.
And then like a couple weeks later, you were like, let's push this back a year. There's no reason that we have to do this right now. And I'm like, no, we're going, and we're taking the RV. And then we did it, and it was awesome.
Right. Yeah.
But we both had doubts at like different times.
Yeah, I'm glad that we didn't push it back because it just worked out perfect that we were able to fly in Carrie,
Yeah.
our nanny, to watch the kids while we were at Disney. Because if we would have pushed it back a year, we probably would have took the younger twins to the park.
Yep.
And that wouldn't have been as fun.
It was really fun to have 2 days where we could just focus on Berend Lyndle and Eloise. And
Right.
like, they were a good age for the parks. There was plenty to do for their age and their height. They weren't quite tall enough for everything, but yeah,
And like
we'll get to that all.
Yeah,
later,
and the
but-
smaller rides had less of a weight.
Long story short, we're really glad that we did this. It went great. We weren't sick of the RV when we were done. It was awesome.
So we left on a Friday, and we had a 5.5 hour, it should have been a 5.5 hours, road trip to just outside Memphis at a KOA.
Yeah.
And so before we left, Rachel's like, did you look at the route?
Like the night before.
Yeah, like, does it look okay? And I was like, yeah, no, it looks great.
Had you looked?
I had looked at, they have like the, like Google, like when you do a route in Google Maps, you can like look at the highway. And so I looked for like an hour outside of Memphis and everything looked great. That was
Are we gonna like insert footage during this, or are we just
Yes.
gonna talk about it? Okay.
No, so we should set up, that's why I was saying like you should look through your phone and we could set up the clips.
Yeah, it was, well, there's a road close by us that the kids, we're only on it for about 10 minutes, and the kids get car sick on it, even though you're only on it for about 10 minutes. And we were on that type of road for like 4 hours.
You think it was that long?
Yes.
No way.
It was a majority of the trip. The
It was-
last hour and the first half hour
We're
to
great.
get to Lebanon. We're great. So out of a 6-hour drive, an hour and a half of it was great.
So
the rest of it was horrendous.
Like when I looked at the route,
it was horrible.
it was gonna take us 6.5 hours if we went interstate the whole way, went through St. Louis and then down to Memphis. Or it was gonna take like 5 hours and 15 minutes if we did a little bit of a shortcut, which was some 2-lane highway, some 4-lane highway to get there.
Mostly 2-lane highway without a shoulder.
And the problem we ran into was once we got through Lebanon, it was very back roadsy, very up and down, and very curvy. And we didn't have cell phone service.
No.
And so, did I hand my phone to you, or did you have your own phone pulled up and I asked you if I should go right or left?
Well, I started realizing that we were not going to be coming off of this horrible road anytime soon. And so I started looking at my route on my phone. You had your phone guiding us also. And I started looking up the route on my phone and just trying to see if there was any way that we could get to a main road, even if it meant adding on an hour. I didn't care at this point. I was just like, what's the closest major highway? Because we just need to get to that as fast as we can and then go from there. So I'm kind of trying to do that. And at this point, like, your phone's guiding you and it says, like, in 0.3 miles, turn right or whatever. And there was a right before that. And I was busy looking at my phone. Your phone had said in 0.3 miles, turn right. And I had heard that. And you said, am I supposed to turn right? I didn't realize that we were at a turn that was before 0.3 miles.
Yeah, it was like a Y in the road.
I was confirming, yes, you are supposed to turn right eventually. Like, I thought you said, like, is it saying to turn right?
So I turned right.
Bad move.
And then it turns out I should not have turned right. So then we were like really on these small, tight back roads. And so we had to get to the main road. So we have I'll insert a picture of our RV with our car behind it. And we had to get back to this road. You can't just turn around anywhere.
No.
Actually,
There's very few places you can turn
You
around.
can't even turn around like in a large parking lot.
No. And if you do get in a turn that's too tight, you have to unhook the car, turn, and then rehook the car back up.
Exactly.
And when you have 5 kids, that takes both of us to do that. Like, I would have to, not necessarily, I guess you could do it.
Yeah, I
but
could do it.
I mean, it'd be a lot of back and forth for you to do it by yourself.
Right.
Which you could do, but yeah, it's just not ideal.
So we had to get back to the road that we were supposed to be on. Definitely not the main road, but we had to get back to the road that we were on. And so
I'm looking at the map, like, it's saying it's rerouting, and it's like it's not picking up signal. It's just like perpetually rerouting. So I'm looking at the map on my phone and I'm like, well, there is a road that if you turn left on it, it will connect you back to where we were supposed to be. But I don't know what this road looks like. And my worst fears were realized. So I'm like, this is where you would turn left if this road is okay to get back to the other one. And so Brad's like,
gotta do
it.
Didn't have a
What
choice.
other choice do we have? Oh,
Turns out.
we have video footage of that.
Here it is. So it turns out it was a gravel road with a bunch of ruts.
We went by some
everywhere.
Beautiful farmland.
Yeah. If anybody would have like seen us, they would have been like, what in the world are these people doing?
Like, the people that lived on that road were the only people that lived on that road, and they probably like know every single car, and they're probably like looking out their windows anytime a car, like, who the heck is on this road?
Yeah.
And then a giant RV pulling a car
with 5 kids in it comes rolling up. But we made it.
It was fine.
Yeah, somehow.
I mean, it handled it like a champ.
Oh yeah, yep. So then we get back on the road, and we made it, and we needed gas. Right?
Oh, you made that joke when we were, I think, like, maybe it wasn't when we were on the gravel road, but it was when we were on the curvy road, and I was already upset about the curvy road, because like he had said that he did his research, and I'm like, Lyndle's gonna throw up because she gets car sick. She did. Luckily, I happened to be like walking back there to do something, and she was like, Mommy, I think I'm gonna throw up. And so I grabbed a bowl. She threw up in the bowl. So you're just like, meanwhile, I'm in the back catching vomit in a bowl. Anyway.
I wasn't just like happily driving when I was on the gravel road.
You weren't just like.
What
was I gonna say? Oh, I think it was when we were on that curvy road that you were like, can you see if there's a gas station close by? And it was a joke, but like even just finding a gas station that has diesel and will fit us is a challenge.
Yeah, we wouldn't have found one on that road.
But then, yeah, you did need gas.
Yes, and so.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so actually we stopped in a Walmart parking lot for lunch, let the kids run. And then.
I got some Dramamine.
Yes. And then we took off and we needed gas.
And once again, I even said, like,
we need to call.
I saw a few around that had diesel, and I was like, why don't we call them and explain what we're driving and just see if we'll fit in their parking lot. And you were like, no, it's fine.
So we get to a gas station, and everything was fine. Like, so we go through this tiny downtown.
We have a video of that too.
Yeah, we have a video of that.
On Main Street.
Yeah. So we get to the gas station.
I can't imagine.
Yeah,
the
people
puckering.
Oh yeah, me driving.
Oh.
No kidding. Especially, I mean, I'm pretty darn experienced, but not like, I'm an experienced driver, like with the pull behind. This is our 3rd year RVing, but not like going through these tiny towns with this giant Class A with the tow behind.
Yeah.
Like I've driven to Oklahoma City and then Springfield, but that was it.
Yeah, and like the RV, my dad was saying things that made sense, and I'm sure you already knew this, but like with the wheels being behind you, you turn way later than you would when you would think you would. So in a town like that, you could really scuff some things up if
you could get in trouble real fast.
Yeah, if you weren't thinking about that as you're turning.
So we get to the gas station, I pull in, and a thing about like, so this gas station was not like, I only want to fill up at trucker gas stations, but we needed gas, so we were out of luck. Because at a gas station like this, you can only put $125 on a card. But, you know, we have 2 different credit cards, so I could put $125 on one, $125 on the other. And it worked out fine. But then I'm like looking around, like, which way should we go to get out of this parking lot? And I like talked to these 2 dudes that were just talking. And they're like, oh yeah, no, just go under that underpass over there and you can get back onto the highway. And so I took that route, but then we missed the turn to get back onto the interstate, and we ended up going in that tiny back road. Remember that?
Yes.
And we went under a bridge.
Oh, that you didn't know if we were gonna fit under it or not.
Yeah, the bridge height was like 14, and we're probably, I don't know, like 12.5, probably 12.6 maybe.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, we're like 12 foot tall. And so, like, we're going under this bridge.
And you're like, you have beads of sweat dripping off of you, not knowing if we're gonna make it. And at that point I was mad too, because like you went out of the parking lot the wrong direction and we were already in trouble. Right. Or we could have been very easily.
Totally. And
it's like, if we would have just taken a second and looked at our map to figure out which direction we're supposed to go, we could have avoided that whole thing. And the theme of the day was, all you have to do is plan ahead. And like, we got in trouble 3 different times, back to back to back, because like we didn't plan ahead. The whole thing is, it's like, with RVing, you should never be in a hurry. Right. The problem with our family, we're always in a hurry. We're never not in a hurry. We're always in a hurry. Yeah, I know. We need to stop doing that. It won't be as big of a deal. Every passing week and month, we'll be in less and less of a hurry, because the more time passes, the better they do in the car. It's really the babies that are like not fun to travel with at the moment. Berend Lyndle and Eloise are great.
They're easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a tablet, a TV, a movie.
Yeah.
They're easy.
They're fine.
So, somehow, we get to Memphis without a scratch on the RV.
You went through some branches.
Yeah. So
Was this the day that you...
That was when I turned around because I thought we could make it to a gas station, but we couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, so we like went through some branches and, well, we got in a turn that was so tight that you needed to unhook the car. And he went back to unhook the car and he couldn't get it unhooked.
Right. Yeah, so that's the problem.
And you can't back up.
Like, so we were in a parking lot and I had turned, but then there was pine trees there with branches that I didn't want to drive through. I could have drove through, but I didn't want to. And so I was going to unhook the car so I could. So when you're hooked, when you have a car behind the RV, when you're towing it, you can't put it in reverse. But if you're turned, the braces are bound, and so you can't get the car off if you're crooked. And so I couldn't get the car off the RV.
We had no choice.
So I had to get back in the RV, and I just drove through those branches. But I went slow, and they went over the RV.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. I have footage of that too, because I was like, we're gonna bust out.
So then we made it to Memphis, and that was the end of day one.
Yeah, it was, and that was like purely a stopping point, and it was rainy and wet, and like all we wanted to do was get out of the RV and play, so we just played outside.
Yeah.
Like the kids got...
And as soon as we got there, like Bear gets on his scooter, goes down, and just gets in this huge mud puddle.
Yeah, soaks his shoes. Well, that was when I realized I didn't pack rain boots or any type of shoe that's all weather. All they had was like sandals. I mean, we're going to Florida.
Right.
Who knew we were going to be in 50 degrees and rain the first night?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, we did because
I should have.
But we had winter clothes, but not rainy clothes.
Yeah, that's true. Not like boots.
All right, so that was day one. We're gonna stop here. We'll see you tomorrow.